Hello and welcome to the Qualified.One podcast number 16. And today we are talking about web development and namely about the Drupal 9. Updating your website platform is not a trivial task. It requires organizational and departmental commitments. It has historically been triggered by compelling events such as rebrand, security issues, user experience issues, administration requirements, etc. As Unleashed Technologies clients travel on their digital journey with our team, they are increasingly recognizing the value of updating their content management system to stay ahead of challenges before they happen and to maximize the benefits of web technology. Conversely, the ability to update your CMS is becoming less and less difficult with each version. Updates are a notable benefit of open source technologies like Drupal that have a large community of developers and users pushing the software forward to enhance performance, security, functionality, and user experience. Since the beginning of the century, Drupal and its support and community have continued to evolve. Drupal 6 arrived in 2008, Drupal 7 in 2011, and Drupal 8 in 2015. Each one offered significant upgrades and was followed by numerous in-versions updates. Now, Drupal 9 looms with the release scheduled for June 3rd. It's a significant one and should be on the roadmap of any user running a Drupal website. You may have a Drupal website and a few questions about migrating to a newer version. Unleashed Technologies is prepared to help you with each step in your research, planning, and implementation. So let's take a look at the continuous evolution of Drupal. We like to say that the web is fluid and always in motion. This is especially true with the community-supported open-source software like Drupal, which has evolved dramatically over the years. Drupal CMS operates using the scripting language PHP on top of web server and database server, along with many other components. Functionality is extended using Drupal modules created and maintained by a community or custom modules created by a development team for a specific website use case. The visual components are implemented with special modules called themes, which yield structured and styled HTML, with appropriate supporting elements like CSS, JavaScript, images, and other resources. The Drupal core and all these related pieces are improved in each major release. For example, Drupal 7 is functionally and architecturally different from Drupal 8. Although concepts carry over, the codebase is not compatible by design. Work must be done by experienced Drupal developers to migrate code and content from an older major version to a newer major version of Drupal. Some of this strategy changed for Drupal 8 and future planned versions of Drupal to ease the burden of an upgrade. What does that mean to you? How can we help your plan? We will evaluate the facts and the community's resources to help make some recommendations. Like Drupal 6, both Drupal 7 and Drupal 8 will continue to function beyond the end of license date. However, the community will no longer provide security updates. The underlying version of things like PHP might be left insecure. There are some less than ideal ways to overcome these concerns in the short term, like using a static website generator for public-facing websites. Ultimately, you should keep November 2021 in your roadmap, and you should plan for an upgrade to a newer version. Now, a short overview of the history of Drupal migrations up to Drupal 7. Up until recently, all versions of Drupal have software functionality that is not backward compatible with the previous version. This was a design decision made to keep the codebase light. Migrating from an older version to Drupal 7 meant rewriting code and migrating content, either using migration tools or manual data entry. Most organizations use this as a time to redesign their website and clean up content. This process is relatively expensive, which takes roughly the same effort as building a new website. Often, organizations are motivated to upgrade to avoid security concerns, which is a healthy, proactive strategy. An upgrade is a great opportunity to refactor functionality, revise architecture, refresh branding, and improve user experience. Now, about the migration to Drupal 8 from an earlier version. Drupal 8 delivered many bold changes to help address some concerns. Well, the first is the ability to replace functionality in Drupal core and mark all methods as deprecated code to be removed in Drupal 9, using the upgrade path later. The second is to reduce the long-term expense of upgrading to newer versions. Next is to utilize Symfony as a website framework to make kind of standard and object-oriented approach. Create a routine release schedule for minor version upgrades every 6 months. And finally, to introduce large components to Drupal core as experimental initiatives in each minor version, capped if they prove successful after a year. Now, migrating from an older version of Drupal to Drupal 8 is a wise investment which can stabilize ongoing improvements well beyond just Drupal 8. As with any upgrade, you benefit from modern functionality, performance, and other valuable features. You can leverage the latest efforts from most of the Drupal community. Once your website is on Drupal 8, you should continuously monitor changes between minor versions for deprecated code. This step helps you prepare for an upgrade to Drupal 9 and reduce that workload. Like a migration to Drupal 7, there is a need to rewrite code and migrate content. This effort is the same, but the last time it was such a burden with a Drupal update. The same is true if jumping from Drupal 7 or earlier to Drupal 9. Moving forward, updating gets easier. Now, finally, about the migration from Drupal 8 to Drupal 9. Moving from Drupal 8 to Drupal 9 is an in-place upgrade. Deprecated code must be audited and adjusted, which is easier than major rewrites. The community will do this for many contributed modules, and your team can help that effort for anything in progress. For some websites, the transition from Drupal 8 to Drupal 9 can be as easy as installing it with little to no changes. Content migration is not needed unless you decide to change your information architecture, design, or some underlying functionality. Overall, an upgrade from Drupal 8 to Drupal 9 might be very little effort for most websites. Therefore, you are on a website older than Drupal 8 and thinking about waiting until Drupal 9 is released, think again. There is no need to wait. Upgrade to Drupal 8 and be ready to move into Drupal 9 before November 2021. That was a podcast from Chet Hester at the Unleashed Technologies for Qialified.One.